And here we are at the Granary burial or burying ground in Boston on Tremont Street. Gonna get the signs for you here as you enter. And of course you can pause the recording, read those if you like. Here on Tremont Street, Beantown Pub. A lot of people have been there, I'm sure. Some more information on the cemetery. Burial ground, as they call it. Kind of an overcast day, so not the best lighting conditions, but here's the first mayor of Boston. His name was John Phillips. Looks like he died in, born in 1770, died in 1823, I believe. It's a pretty sizable cemetery. That obelisk there commemorates the burial place of Ben Franklin's parents. Here's another little sign. Some information there. You can pause and read away. There's some tour groups in here right now, so we're going over to the victims of the Boston Massacre. Their stone is right here. And this wreath was laid here last week when they commemorated the 250th anniversary of the Boston Massacre, which occurred on March 7th, 1770. And here's the stone commemorating that event. And it's also where the remains of the victims are. Samuel Gray, Samuel Maverick, James Caldwell, Crispus Attucks, and Patrick Carr. And there's also a burial here, Christopher Snyder. I've actually seen this name spelled a couple different ways. I've seen it as Seider, S-E-I-D-E-R, but he was a 11 or 12-year-old boy that was killed about 10 days or so before the actual massacre took place. Tensions were boiling over at that point, and the Boston Massacre went down. Here's the stone of one of Boston's big notables, Samuel Adams. Yes, it was a real person, not just a beer. Signer of the Declaration of Independence, governor of the state, and leader of men and an ardent patriot. Born 1722, died 1803. And here's the little if you fought in the Revolution, you get one of these put on your stone, or near your stone, as a son of the American Revolution. So I'm going to try to go away from the crowds. Don't really want people to think I'm some kind of whack job talking into a purple thing, which is my camera. But we'll go out to the rear of the cemetery, because that's actually where some of the oldest stones are. And as you saw earlier, there's a lot of people in here. Paul Revere, you know, we've got Peter Faneuil, I believe was his name, leader of business. Some of these are so, I mean, look at this one. This grave right here has pretty much just sunk into the ground. We don't know who's there. And that's a shame, because everybody should be remembered. We're getting a church bell here from the Park Street Church, which is right here. And here lies the body of Elizabeth Hall, age 75 years. And it looks like she passed on September 27th, 1734. Very, very old. Our wonderful city. A lot of things going on. Again, here's the monument to Ben Franklin's parents. I think I can get up here too. Looks like there's some stairs. So I will get right on top of this. People leave coins and such. Here's some other stones that are... This actually looks like a remodel or a newer stone replacement. You can see some of these. Thomas Kilby, aged 42, 1732. Deacon Samuel Harris, who passed in 1767. There's Dorcas Brewer, 1765. It's another sign for you to read. And this part's interesting too, about the women and children that were buried here. The old and the modern all around here in Boston. It's an interesting stone here. Gershom flag. $1771. It's a guess. My Roman numeral computing is not the best, but that's my fair guess. You can see a lot of little stones. Which is sad because the mortality rate for infants back then, astronomical. As I go along, again, you can pause the recording, see if you can read some of these. Mrs. Elizabeth Britton. It's a 22-month-year-old right there. 1708. Like it could be a family plot. This one's gone sideways on us here. Samuel Knowles of Eastham, which is in Cape Cod, down the Cape. 1750. This one's really hard to read, but people again have left some coins. And this is John Hancock's grave, right here. Now up towards the back are the older stones, and some of these go back, I think the graveyard dates back to about 1660, something like that. And here's some of the Hancock descendants, or a servant to John Hancock named Frank. So interesting stuff, excuse me. Captain John DeCoster, age 26. Stop here, my friend, and cast an eye. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepared for death and follow me. Well, not very enlightening stuff, but I guess the nature of things was pretty morbid back then. Here's somebody who participated in the Boston Tea Party. That's what that little plaque commemorates right there. Sarah Uran, wife to Joseph Uran. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's another little sign for you to pause on, read all about. I don't know if you can read this, but the story of Nathaniel Shannon right here. There's a stone back here. I'll zoom in on that. James Bowden. Hopefully you can read that. Some of this is in Latin. If anyone's good with that, if they could decode it and put it in the comments section, that would be cool. Here again, kind of the older part of the cemetery. This says Samuel Phillips. Nye and Freeman tomb, 1807. I don't know what the history is of that. And here's Paul Revere. There's a little marker here dating back again. Another participant in the Boston Tea Party right there. Kind of stop on each one so you could pause and read. Here's an interesting one. Looks like the Hurd family, H-U-R-D, are here. And excuse me. This is interesting too. I read this the other day. He was a craftsman, Nathaniel Hurd. You can see that here. Here's some of the prices to bury people back in the day. I don't know what 10 shillings it equates to in modern US dollars, but I guess we could find that out. John Hull, silversmith, goldsmith, and the colony's mint master and treasurer, one of the leading craftsmen of Boston in the 17th century. Again, the old and the new. One Beacon Street right there. What's this thing say here? Charles Cushing, I believe. Something's been digging holes here in the cemetery. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of creepy. Probably rats anyway. I don't think it's people. Here we are again towards the back of the cemetery. I think these ones are pretty old. That one's 1705 right there. This one unfortunately is sinking. This one here, 1680. Incredible. So some real interesting stuff here at Granary. And I'm going to get another sign for you so you can pause and read along at home. I'll get the whole thing in here. Okay. And I'm gonna just make my way back out. Hope you've enjoyed this little trip through the Granary burial ground on Tremont Street here in Boston, Massachusetts. We've even got some plaques up on the wall here too. So, oh, here's a dignitary, Increase Sumner. I think his family dates back to like the witch trials or something, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that, but here's a stone going back to 1671. It's a 16-month-old, and it has survived all this time.